Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Beluga Whale, and today we have a not champion specific video. Today I just want to talk about improving at League of Legends. So in this video I'm going to talk about what I think are the very most basic things that everyone should be able to check off if you're seriously trying to improve at League. Now just a disclaimer, there are going to be plenty of people that have pretty high elos that don't do all four of these things, and you don't necessarily have to do all of them. But realistically, if you're just an average Joe trying to get better at League, then you need to be able to check all of these off. So I hope you guys can use this video and get better at League. Okay, here we are on Prezi, and if you guys don't know what Prezi is, it's a presentation program that's kind of similar to PowerPoint, but in a lot of ways it's a lot better than PowerPoint, and I like using it. I've used it once before in the Jungling 101 video. I'll leave a link to that in the description if you want to check that out. Now, the music in the background is the Marine 2 remix by Poki Remix Studio, and there'll also be a link to it if you want to listen to it outside of this video. Now, let's talk about the improvement checklist. If I can get with it. Okay, first things first. You need a good computer. And notice how I say a good computer. I don't mean an excellent computer, a great computer, a computer that costs, $1,000+ gaming rig. You just need one that's decent, and the reason for that is you need a computer that can run constant League FPS. I would say 30 is the minimum, and if you're not running 30, try to lower your settings. If your settings are all the way low, then you just have a really bad computer, and you can you can try to improve and play with that, but it's not optimal. 30 FPS as the minimum, and of course the more FPS you have, the better it's going to be. And notice quality is irrelevant. So if you are just worried about playing League of Legends well, then you may have to run on the lowest quality setting. That's fine. All that does is makes the game look a little bit worse to you, but if that improves your FPS, that's going to make a huge difference in your gameplay. And now the reason that you need a good computer, the reason that you have to be able to have constant FPS throughout a whole League game, is because when computers that I would not consider good do lag, it's going to be at important parts in the game. So team fights where there are going to be 5-on-5 champions using all their abilities, that'll make a weak computer lag. Or maybe a gank or a Baron fight or any of that stuff, that's when your computer is going to lag, and if you lag then that can cost you the whole game. So that's why I say you need a good computer, but notice it doesn't have to be some crazy gaming computer, it just needs to be able to run League well. And luckily for you guys, League is really not that hard of a program to run. Riot does a lot of optimizing to make it run on most computers, so hopefully most people can meet this criteria. Now, onto the second criteria, pretty similar. You need a good internet connection. Now, myself, you guys know I am Diamond right now, but I did make it all the way to Platinum on about 120 ping. The internet at my house is really bad, the one that I grew up in, and before Riot moved the server, I do live on the East Coast. Before Riot moved the server, I just had awful ping. 120 ping was nice. A lot of times it went above that. And the very best it ever got was 90, was the lowest it was ever before the server changed. So I did make it to Platinum on that ping. Climbing is definitely possible on anything equal to or less than 100 ping, I would say. That is probably the baseline. Anything more than that, obviously, I have to say that you can make it to at least Platinum on 120 ping because I've done that myself, but it's pretty difficult, and obviously the lower ping you have, the easier it's going to be. So if you have weak internet like I do, and I would imagine a lot of low elo players do have kind of weak internet, then you just need to play at the correct times. So maybe as soon as you get home from school or something, your whole family's on the computers, and you jump into a League game and you have 200 ping right off the bat. That's not when you want to be playing ranks, right? This might not be possible for you to play ranks at maybe later in the night where your family's gone to bed, or maybe earlier in the morning before they get up. One of those times, if you really want to get better at League, then you need to do something like that, work around the bad ping, and you're just going to have better games. So the first two, the good computer and the good internet connection, they're pretty cut and dry. Either you do have them or you don't have them, and it doesn't really require much on you unless if you can improve your situation. If you can't, then unfortunately you just can't meet the criteria. Now we can move to things that are more about you as a player. So one of the most important things about League of Legends is your mindset. And unfortunately, the only mindset that you can change in a game for sure is your own mindset. A lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people try to convince other players on their team. None of that's going to work. So what you need is a self-reflecting mindset, first off. You don't blame your teammates for a loss. When you come out of a game, you don't have to say, oh, I'm the whole reason that game was lost. You don't have to put all the weight on your shoulders, because no one in the game played perfectly. If you guys don't know, nobody plays League of Legends perfectly. Even Bjergsen or Faker or any of those really big shot names in pro play, they don't even play League perfectly. So I know none of you guys watching this video play League perfectly. But there are probably plenty of things that you could have done to win a game. So while you shouldn't say, oh, it's completely my fault, everyone else on my team played perfectly and I'm the only one to blame, you also can't say, well, I did everything I can and it's all my teammates' fault. Take adequate blame. Theoretically, every game is winnable for any player on any champion. But realistically, that's not going to happen. So understand that you are going to lose games. That's just part of playing League. You're going to win and you're going to lose. But you got to take the games that you lose and maybe even some of the games that you win and just analyze what you did wrong and start improving on it. Now, some of you guys are going to be watching this video and maybe you have recorded your games before or something and you've watched them and then you don't understand what you did wrong. And that's one of the hardest things to do about League. It's one thing to find out what you're doing wrong and fix it, but if you just can't even find out what you're doing wrong, then you're going to have a really serious problem getting better. So that means that you have to learn what you can do to improve. And basically that just means getting better game knowledge. And the way that you can get better game knowledge is to watch higher level players play. So whether you want to watch YouTube videos, you can watch my YouTube videos, you can watch streams, you can watch maybe even LCS and actually listen to the shoutcasters. Any of that stuff is going to give you better game knowledge. And then the more game knowledge you get, the easier it's going to be able to tell what you did wrong. And then that's how you're going to improve it. So right along with self-reflecting mindset, we have the last part, the optimal attitude. So basically, you got to treat your teammates in solo queue. I'm not talking about when you're playing with friends, but in solo queue, you kind of have to treat your teammates as part of the game. And there's a way that you can treat your teammates optimally that will make you win. And then there's the way that what most people do, which is not optimal, and it leads to a lot of losses. Okay? First off, flaming or blaming or whatever you want to call it, your teammates will never help you. It cannot benefit you in any way. If a teammate makes a mistake, there's no reason to mention it to them, okay? If they ask, this is the only time that you can tell people what to do. If they ask you, maybe they don't know what they did wrong, but usually people aren't going to do that in solo queue. So honestly, just keep your mouth shut. That's the most basic way to put it. Just do not talk to them because it cannot help you. And blaming your teammates, making your teammates angry, it'll put you on tilt, it'll distract you from actually paying attention to the game, it'll distract the person you're talking to because they're probably going to reply to you, it'll put them on tilt, and it's also might distract your teammates, which is the worst thing. If you want to argue with one person, that's one scenario, but if you argue with one person and then your other teammates try to break you guys up, then you're just ruining the whole game for your whole team. So don't do it. Just don't do it. Now, on the flip side of that, compliments are good, but being excessive with compliments, sometimes that'll tick people off. I know myself personally, I don't like it when people write out whole long sentences about, oh, you did this well, because one, I probably know I did it well anyways, and then two, you're wasting a lot of time typing, so just use the little shortcuts that everyone in League uses. I usually use good work, which is just GW, but you could also say good job, stuff like that. Those are good. If you want to say those in chat, that's good. But typing out a whole sentence, that's usually bad, okay? But most of the time, focus on throwing out compliments when they do stuff well. And when they do stuff wrong, they're going to know they did it wrong. You know they did it wrong. So just leave it alone. They're going to try to make it better. And finally, passive aggression is just as bad as, I'll call it active aggression. So if you guys don't know what passive aggression is, basically it would be something like this. Say your mid laner gets caught and they die, and then your The enemy team gets Baron off of it. Say that's the scenario. And then if you want to be a little passive-aggressive jerk, you could say something like, oh, we could have fought that Baron if only we had all 5 of our teammates, because then everyone on your team is going to know you're kind of throwing the blame on your mid laner. Don't do that either. So don't think that you can kind of loophole it, and that's not flaming your teammates. Passive aggression is just as bad, and just shut up. That's it, just be quiet. And then finally, listen to your teammates. Don't go into League of Legends games thinking that you know exactly what to do and none of your teammates have any idea what they're doing, because if you're watching this video and you're really struggling to improve, chances are you know about as much as your teammates. That's why you get placed at certain ranks in the game. So maybe you're silver 4, maybe you're below it, above it, I don't care. If you go into a game thinking that you know better than your whole team, then you're probably wrong. You're most definitely wrong. So just listen to your teammates sometimes. That also means if they shot call something and you might not quite agree with it, you still have to do it. If your whole team's doing it, don't be that one person that makes them do it into 4v5. Just do it with them, even if it turns out wrong. You know, that can be knowledge that you can save for another day. And finally, this is the big one. Obviously, optimal attitude is the big one. But all 4 of those count, and then if you can check all of those off, you're ready. You're finally ready to play League of Legends and get better at it. Now, if you follow this checklist every time you play, I don't care if you watch this video every time you play, but just always keep this in mind and maybe check back, watch this video again in a month, 2 months. Just keep it on your mind. First thing that's going to happen is you're going to actually enjoy playing League of Legends. Chances are, if you're really worrying about just improving, you might find games that you just don't enjoy and you're not quite sure why you're playing a game that you're not enjoying. Follow this checklist and you're going to have more fun. I promise that. At first, you're not going to see any changes. You're probably going to think I'm spewing bogus. You're going to think that treating your teammates doesn't do anything. Treating your teammates well doesn't do anything for you. It doesn't matter if you know what you're doing wrong. You still do it every game. That's okay. Just give it a little time. As long as you're focusing on what you can do to improve and you're treating your teammates well, then all at once, it's going to happen really quickly. It happened to me in Season 5. I was Platinum 5 for most of the season, and then all of a sudden I started winning every single game. I went on about a 24-game win streak, give or take, maybe a few losses, but at the worst I would say I was 24-3, and I went from Plat 5 all the way to Plat 1, and then I got into Diamond shortly after. This is how it's going to happen. It's not going to be as soon as you watch this video you go play and you immediately start doing better and you're going to climb the next day. It's going to take a little while to change your mindset into this mindset that actually gets you better at the game, and then once your mindset is finally changed, then you're going to actually start getting better, and it's going to happen pretty quickly. And now finally, you're started. You watch this video, you follow these steps, you're on your way to getting to whatever rank you want, just getting better than your friends. Maybe that's your goal. I don't care what your goal is. If you follow this video, you're going to get better. However, just make sure to remember this one. Optimal attitude. I'm not going to talk about it again, but please check back on this one. I focus on this one so much because even me making this video, I don't always have an optimal attitude, and if I did, I would win a lot more games. So that's it for the presentation. I hope this can help you guys out. I really do think that these 4 things are just what every player needs to be able to check off before they play, and if you do that, you are going to get better at the game, I promise. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.